Okay, hey, so this is a quick tutorial for the Nord Stage 4 for use at church, specifically in Branch Church and First Baptist Church of Red Bank. This is how I have the piano set up for us to use. What I want to do is give you, if you're new to the piano and you want to volunteer on it, how you can get up and running with basically no work at all. You can orient yourself. And then if you want to get a little more in-depth with it and use a bit more of the capabilities, we'll get into that as well. So let's get started with, hey, if you're just need to fill in real quick and you want to get in and out in 5 minutes, that's what we'll cover right now. So the first thing to do is orient yourself that this here is our program preset section. There are different kinds of presets, specifically presets for an individual section, like a synth, a piano, or an organ. But these are our program presets that include the synth, the piano, the organ, or maybe just one or two of them, but it's the whole program. It's the whole layout, including effects and whatnot. So I have 8 here that are kind of pre-programmed that will get you some good use. We have a bass patch that we will come back to in a little bit with a grand piano, the same exact thing with an upright piano. Then this is a color palette that adds in an organ, some other stuff. This is a pad for parts in high energy songs that you drop out. This is a very simple upright piano with a pad. So hey, so here's your cue. If you just want to get started now, hit program number 5, you got a pad, and you're ready to go. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. So that's a very simple upright. Now this is a simple grand with a D next to it. Those letters mean something. In this case, D is for drone, and I will show you this more, but you'll want to remember this light shows where the keyboard split is, so the drone starts up here. Okay, but let's move on to the next one. This is a Rhodes. This is a really beautiful Rhodes. There's not much to say about this other than it's a plain Rhodes if you want. Awesome sounding. Okay, and then the last patch here, also for quickly orienting yourself, this is what I call alter felt. It's a felt piano and it's got some pads on it, but in alter time I want to play really simple sparse chords. This will get you there real quick, and it sounds amazing. So you get the idea on that. All right. Okay, so let's jump in a little bit more. So let's go back to this first patch. Bass grand DW. What does that mean? Okay, so this is our bass worship patch with a grand piano. Again, we got a grand and an upright right next to each other. And the D and the W mean D, there's a drone. So the drone is over here. So this upper octave, any of these keys after the light will set the drone in a certain key. So let's go with G. So I hit G. Now what's going on? Why isn't it making any noise? Well, that's because the synth section, there's no volume on these. The lights are on, so all 3 of these are 3 different parts in this section. They're all on, but there's no lights, which means I need to quickly pull the fader down and then bring it in as I want. So this first drone is it's an Oberheim drone, but pretty soft and kind of warm. The second one is a bit harsher. So you'll use these to taste as you want. The second one I only really ever use pretty low. And you'll want to use these drones pretty low. Okay? So I set it to the key of G, and if I'm ever worried, just hit it again, because it just re-triggers the drone in that key. So I'm in G, and now I have my basic piano on. This is what it sounds like. So this is a great sounding piano. It does have a good amount of reverb and effects on it. So we may dial that in a bit more as we go on, but for right now, out of the gate, this is how it's going to sound. Now, this, so we went through 2 of the synth patches. The third one is tied to this wheel. So that's the W in the name. So there's drone and there's wheel. The wheel means this wheel has something to do. In this case, it's both the filter and the volume on this. So really all you need to know is this third patch right here comes in with this wheel. So let's try that. So I'm in G. So that's pretty bright and will show up in a high energy chorus, right? So if I'm playing, okay, so I can pull that in as I want with those more high energy parts. Now let me pull these drones out for a second. Let me show you the second piano layer. The way this keyboard is oriented is all of these faders, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these faders control up to 7 different sounds operating at once. So we just went through 3 synth sounds, and now we have the piano sounds. The one piano is all the way up, right? We got that. That's a grand piano. Now there's a second one. I'm going to pull it down again because the fader was up and I want to fade it in gradually. The fader doesn't automatically move, so if I change presets and go back, you might have the fader halfway up, but the programmed level might start at low, so you want to just quickly pull that down so that you can gradually bring it in. Now if I turn to a fader and it's if I turn to a preset and that fader is lit up, well, you know the programmed level in that patch is at that certain level. Okay, so in this case, we come right to our thing. I'm going to pull it down and I'm going to see what that sounds like. That's without anything. Much more airy and glittery. A lot more ambient. It's also louder because we're adding volume to it. Now, I'll show you what that second layer does by itself. Oh, so it's actually pitched up an octave. Isn't that cool? So you have a second piano that's pitched up an octave with a bunch more reverb and washiness on it. So you have that at your fingertips to mix in as you would like. All right, sounds awesome. This patch doesn't have any organs, so we're going to leave that for now. Okay, so that's the base idea of your basic patch here with the grand piano, D for your drone set up here, and W for the wheel if we want to add in while we're playing, you know, in higher energy parts. If you want some of that brighter synth to come through, just pull this up for those patches. Second patch, exact same thing, but with an upright piano. Sounds a little different. Okay. Now this patch is the color palette. So in a case where we had more of an upbeat song, you know, I might want to do something like this. Okay, so as you know, I'm not a great pianist, but we get by. So, so this has your organ over here. This section is your organ. These are your pianos. These are your synths. And this shows you real quick. So I have a B3 organ set up here, a grand sound going on here, and what they call the silk pad over here. So just a quick look on that. If I want to play any of this individually and hear what any of them are, I'm going to use this solo button. So say I want to know what that synth does. I hit solo. And it solos the piano because I didn't hit the right one. So let's try that again. So now I'm on that one. There we go. All right, so that's that synth. This is a string sound. And this is a bell. Pretty cool. Now, I already heard the piano soloed. The second piano didn't show up, but it's an electric. You can fade that in if you want. And this is our organ sound. Cool. All right. So I soloed all those things, and to get back to the program, I just hit the program and it reloaded all of it. That's all of it together. But let's say I don't want to hear the synths. Well, I'm going to turn that whole section off, and that's it. So this is just that organ and the piano. Awesome. Okay. Next, the dropout pad. In those high energy songs, I like to have a pad that, you know, when you come to a spot where everybody drops out and you just have the synth, it's got to be soft enough but also bright enough. So this is what that sounds like. Cool. So pretty cool there. Not much to say about that. All right. Now, on this pad, you can see there is a felt piano, but it's not mixed very loud. If you want to play around with sounds, you can play around, bring the felt up, move that down, whatever you want. All right, simple upright. We said this was a basic upright piano and this pad. Now, perhaps I want to adjust the amount of pad. Again, notice, yeah, so maybe I really want more of that, less of the piano in some cases. I don't know if I ever want that, but you can do it. All right. Next, simple grand. This has a D next to it, which means there's a special note that we have the drone set up. Now, one note on the drones. They are set up on the upper octave right now, but in the future, we can move this to another keyboard. So if we want the drone to be on an auxiliary keyboard, maybe up top or maybe to your left or whatever, I can easily do that if that's what if we prefer to have these keys to have that upper range included in the basic sounds. But for now, it's set up as this drone. So this is a simple grand with a drone. So let's hit C. So I have my C drone. The drone is this worship drone in channel 1. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, a pad, Sunday pad, and a warm pad. So I got a couple pads, and that's the levels the program is set to. I have a piano, which is a simple grand piano, as it says. You can see it's the white grand. And would I hit C? Yep, I hit C. So I can play along with that. Cool. Pretty simple. And you get this grand to play with. You get the drone as well. This Rhodes we played a little bit. Not much else to worry about there. And the altar felt, we already went on through that. Not much else to worry about with that. Okay, great. So that wraps up our first set of 8 banks. The other things to note are that you can copy this program, any of these programs, to your own program channel. So, so this button here says monitor or copy. So if I want to copy something, so let's say I like this altar felt setting and I want to put it in my own bank of patches, I'm going to hit copy, and then the program, which is lit up as 8. And now I copied that H18 program, so it's copied in memory right now. And now let's say my bank is G41, and we'll have a note sheet that'll say, people can sign up for banks, and you can just claim one of the banks of 8 programs. Now, once I'm in here, I'm going to paste it, and the paste is this is below. So I'm going to shift to get the bottom words on each button are with the shift button. So shift, paste, and I'm pasting program H18, and I'm putting it right into slot 1, which is G41. Bam. And now it relabels it altar felt 2, because altar felt 1 is in my bank of settings, but now you have it. There you go. Now let's say as I'm playing this, I realize I really want more of this. Now I see an E up there, so I'm G41 E, and that means I've changed something, so I'm going to store it, and I'm just going to store it right in the same spot, because this is my new altar felt pad, and it's changed with that. And if I don't like this sound, well, let's just turn that off. So to turn on or off, you see the off button has the down arrow. So if I push this down and hold it, that's going to turn that off. So let's say I want to save it without that. Go ahead, boom. Now I've saved it without that second patch. And if I'm not sure what this third one is, remember I can solo. Oh no, I like that one, so we'll keep that, right? Unsolo, we're back. Okay, so that's like pretty basic how I can take some setting that I find, take a program that I find somewhere on the keyboard and save it to a bank of presets, a bank of program presets that I want, a bank of programs that I want to use for a Sunday, or maybe I have 3 sounds that I want to pull from all the time, so I'll put them together. That's pretty easy. All right, so that's like the most basic stuff. Let's get into a little more advanced stuff. Within the piano, okay, you have keyboard touch levels, medium, light, and heavy, that you can play with that and see what feels right to your fingers. There's this thing called dynamic compression, and what that does is it levels out your playing. So if you watch this. So as you see, this is very even volume for each hit. When it's off, the volume of each hit varies a lot. And it's different from a typical compressor, because a typical compressor squashes the whole signal and actually changes the tone of what you're playing. But this just changes the actual key velocity to level it out. So if you're playing a really hard part and you want each note in that hard part to come out, you might want more dynamic compression. So let's say I'm in, keep going through the piano section. There's also this unison thing. If I want to have unison of the piano, you can play with that. Let's say I want to change my piano setting. So I have this alter felt patch that I love, but you know what? I don't want that felt upright. So let's just change it. So all I have to do is swap this, and now I have a mellow upright. Cool, all right. Now I have a grand upright. And if I want to save that, I can just, boom, save it. Or I can copy it to a new patch that I'm working from and save it there. All right. Now, let's say I don't want an upright at all. Let's say I want an electric sound, or a clav, or digital piano, or a vibraphone, or a marimba, or a grand. Okay, so this button selects your type of piano, and this is which piano in that type. That's pretty much your piano section. The only other thing is this keyboard zone. If this is lit up, it shows you that there's only a section that you're playing. So on any of those drone settings, right, so on this, remember, we have this upper section set for the drone. So the keyboard zone, it shows the bottom 3 lights. So it's everything from here is active for my piano sound. My piano sound doesn't happen up here. Okay? And that's all you need to know about that. Okay, now, moving on with what we have to learn. There's also this middle section is kind of your programs. We went through a lot of this, but there's a couple more things I want to point out. Each patch has the ability to have a secondary layer. So let's say I want to have a quick button to turn off certain parts of the synth. So I have this color palette. Now I move to this, and now look what that did. It's still the same program, but it deleted my piano and my synth, and it swapped to my alternate organ and made it a lot louder. So you can push this. Now if I wanted to change that, let's say I want to bring my piano back in, great. Now look at that. I go back to that second layer, and now my piano's in. First one, second one. So it's not a full new preset. You can't change the level of anything, but you can change what is on. Out of your 7 sounds, you can change what is on by this layer scene. So any and if you save that program, that layer is saved in that program. So I'm not going to save it because I made changes, but you see that E there reminding me that's modified, and I need to change it. Okay, so that's what this layer thing is. Live mode, if you want to, there are 8 banks that are not in your regular presets. And the thing about these is they're live mode, meaning any change that I make means it's automatically saved. So these are always open to use. If you want to go and copy a program and then navigate, you hit live mode and then paste it right into live mode, you can now, and anything you change is going to be there when you come back. See, I didn't hit save, but I go back and that volume changes there. These banks are live. Any changes are automatically saved. Okay, so that's live mode. You have your program list knob, which is this. So let's get out of live mode. These are back to my presets. I can scroll through them like this, or I can tap these. But if I tap these, right, I only have 8. So that's what this page is for. This page is my second page of presets, which I will go through in a minute. So you can use this, or your page, or if you want to go bank, shift, and this goes through banks. Oh, by the way, there's all of these banks, A, B, C, D, and E, all have dozens of presets in it that you can just mess around with and see what they sound like, okay? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I got into this new view that I didn't want. How do I get rid of that? That's There we go. Exit. All right. So another cool thing about this is you can save presets for just sections of your keyboard. So let's say I'm in my bass patch and I want a different piano preset. I could just pick my piano, but let's say I have a piano sound dialed in that I really want. I could go to piano and pick from those piano presets. Okay, and it shows you how many layers that preset takes up. So this takes up A and B. But let's say I know I only want to change one layer. Let's say I want to just change this layer. So I'm going to hit that, and now I'm going to hit Shift, and you see single layer is written down here. So I'm going to go Shift, single layer, piano, and now I have all of my single layer presets that I can swap in there. And if you really want to get advanced, you can make your own presets for single layer or multi-layer in each section. So program saves everything, or presets save either a section or a subset of a section, either 2 layers or 1 layer. All right, that's your preset library up here. This is your split button. If you want to split your keyboard, do that. You can split it anywhere along these lit up things. Transpose, if I want to play in a different key, I just hit transpose, and you can set whether you want to go up or down. Now, if I have this drone on, let's say I have this drone making noise, this button is really important. You see it says panic. So, but it's on the bottom half of the button, so I have to hit Shift first and then hit it. Panic shuts everything down. It eliminates everything. Program view just gives you a different program view, how you want to see things. And we already went through solo, and that's good for that. Okay, next section, synth. I don't think we're going to go through any of that. We'll leave that for now. And the effects, I think we'll leave for another day. Okay, let's go through the remaining patches that I put in here. Some of these are original, some of these I got from other places. But these are things just to experiment with. That's a dulcimer, so if I'm playing something kind of fast, that's not what I would use it for. That was actually a riff from a 3rd grade piano book. It's called Swans on the Lake, I think. All right, anyway, just things to mess around with. Dance piano. Very cool sounding for upbeat stuff. Play around with it, see what you can get. There's an EP with a pad. W means the wheel. So it brings in brightness with the wheel. Brings in whiteness. This is a wet EP. Wet means it has more effects. It says pulse, which means there's a pulse in here, and I see my keyboard is split, so it's probably down here. Cool, okay. Worm keys, W. So this is a pretty cool patch if you do want to have a brighter section for a chorus. Okay, cool. Silver Grand with an atmospheric pad. W, again, the wheels in. Felt upright with the wheel. Another altar vibes. This one has an EP. That was too busy for altar time, but you get it. Piano pulse. It's this little pulse in the background. Stuff to experiment with. I was skip this one. This is another drone, but this has an upright piano. So I think in the first set of patches I had a grand on this. This is a factory patch from Nord that's pretty cool. Pretty sweet program. EP and drone, more of the same stuff. This is a really washy altar sound. So something like... This is another grand and drone. W means the wheel. So you notice that when I first started, it was like, oh, bright, there's a synth in there. Got to bring that down. Okay. This is a Farfisa, which is an old organ. Probably cool for maybe some lead sounds. Pipe organ. I don't know how to play pipe organ. This is a pretty cool setting with a lot of delay. That could be an intro to a song or something. This is a basic. Basic B3. Notice the split there. I have to play around with that. Another organ, and I had a couple other. Oh, this is stuff I'm. All right, that's going to be it for now. That's a bunch to play around with. So that's it. So basics of the keyboard: organ, piano, program section, synth, and your effects. We didn't talk about the effects at all, but basically every one of those 7 sounds can have their own individual effects. So say you want your synth to be more washy, you can add in more reverb. You want your piano to be really dry and up front, you can cut that down, but have the other stuff with delay or reverb or amp sims, all kinds of stuff. But we could spend years learning this, but I think what I covered there was a good overview that shouldn't be too long and should be something we can watch a couple times to get a handle on the basics of how to use this. All right, that's it. See you later.